About 250,000 people, just shy of that, estimates, were at the National Mall today. Not one incidence of violence. Not one incidence of hate. Carrying the flags of the United States, the flag of Israel, posters with hostages, signs in support of Israel and the United States, 100% peaceful. And they heard from a variety of people, Republican and Democrat, politician and non-politician, and families of hostages taken on October 7th. One family, 2 little girls in this family, one aged 2 and one aged 4, they were taken hostage. Their mother was taken hostage, although it's not clear if they're in the same location. The father was taken hostage. Nobody's heard from him. The grandmother was taken hostage and later found dead on the side of the road. The grandfather was taken hostage, and they don't know where he is. And not sure whether he's dead or alive. That's just one family. I haven't seen that story in the press. And then today the Israelis are doing everything humanly possible to get life support machines for the babies in a hospital that Hamas has built a massive headquarters under with all kinds of booby traps. Israel was trying to get fuel into the hospital, but was blocked by Hamas, and this has now been reported by U.S. intelligence as well, and others who've actually seen it. And it's Israel trying to save Palestinians, and it's Hamas who are trying to kill them. Unbelievable. At the same time, the media in this country is destructive, is inhumane, utterly immoral, and has no conscience as a group whatsoever. None. For the last 48 hours, you've been hearing from the media that Donald Trump is full Hitler because he used the word vermin. He's full Hitler. Now, they've called him Hitler before, and I've demonstrated that in Unfreedom of the Press, particularly Joe Scarborough. He's hot on calling him Hitler. And so what Joe Scarborough and the others are doing is, rather than calling people who are Hitlerian truly Hitler, they're using the word to attack their political opponents or individuals they don't like. And in doing so, they make a mockery of the Holocaust. Nobody truly believes Donald Trump is Hitler. One of the great pastors in America, one of the great evangelicals in America, is a friend of ours, Pastor John Hagee. He started an organization several decades ago, CUFI, Christians United for Israel. Millions of members, upwards of 10 million members. One of the greatest pro-Israel, pro-freedom organizations in America, which means on the face of the earth. And today a website called Mediaite smears him and degrades him, an organization that was founded by Dan Abrams, implying that he praised Hitler. Can you imagine? So Trump is full Hitler, Hagee praised Hitler, and then, of course, yours truly is an anti-Semite. according to Media Matters, which was founded by a self-hating Jew and anti-Semite, George Soros, and is promoted by racists, bigots, and anti-Semites like the current president of Media Matters. And the organization Mediaite constantly playing politics with the life and death of a people and a nation. Another platform of poison. It's incredible. And given the history of the press when it comes to anti-Semitism and Jew hatred, given the history of the press when it comes to covering up the Holocaust, and given the current press in this country, which applies moral equivalency to terrorists and Jews in Israel, you'd think they know better, but they don't. This is a real loathsome, scummy operation of press outlets with loathsome, scummy individuals working for them. They have Islamists working for them. They have Islamist photographers working for them who celebrate Hitler. They have individuals who use Hamas statistics on a regular basis to try and demean and smear the state of Israel and the IDF. They're in full attack mode against the Fox News Channel because the Fox News Channel has more hosts, more journalists, more guests who support Israel and oppose Iran, who support Israel and oppose Hamas, who support Israel and oppose Hezbollah, than any network in existence, and it's not even a close call. So they turn their guns on Fox. Go check out Media Matters website. How they try and destroy the reputation of Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham. Look how they just try to destroy the reputation of Charlie Kirk. And many, many more. When in fact it's the media that promotes the memes, the blood libels of the 1930s. But Trump used the word vermin. Trump is, without dispute, the greatest friend in the Oval Office that Israel has ever had, bar none. Bar none. In fact, he's the greatest friend the Jewish people have had in the Oval Office. Bar none. He's the only president to have a Jewish family. But he's Hitler, you see. He's the only president to have signed an executive order attacking anti-Semitism on our college campuses, and you see it's rampant. To take serious steps to try and address it. And there's a lot more. When the loathsome Joe Scarborough, even as a congressman, never lifted a finger to help anybody. And yet they spew their hate because these corporatists are all in. It's no problem by them. It's fine to them. Rabbi Dov Fisher, writing in the American Spectator not too long ago, and Rabbi Fisher is an Orthodox Jew, and he writes here, I don't know why Donald Trump loves Jews. Maybe because more than 90% of Orthodox Jews voted for him against Hillary and Joe Biden. Maybe because his daughter is an Orthodox Jew. Maybe because Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, whom he loves and trusts, is an Orthodox Jew. Maybe because Trump's grandchildren are Orthodox Jews who observe the Shabbat according to its laws, eat strictly kosher, and attend yeshiva Jewish parochial school. Or my personal theory, the rabbi writes, maybe because his father, Fred, was one of the great Philosemites. Philosemite. What's a Philosemite? It's the opposite of an anti-Semite. It's somebody who loves the Jewish people. Maybe because his father Fred was one of the great Philosemites of the prior generation, who even donated property to a Jewish congregation for them to have synagogue, taught young Donald that part of the Trump family legacy is to love Jews. Apparently, the Scarborough family didn't teach Joe that. Apparently, the families of Mediaite, they didn't teach their children that. Media Matters didn't teach their children that, and all the rest of them. Certainly Biden, not. When others refused to hire Jews, Trump did. Number one, he opened the restricted Mar-a-Lago private club to blacks and Jews when he bought it. Number two, he surrounded himself with honorable Jewish legal scholars and attorneys like David Friedman and Jason Greenblatt, and even a bum named Michael Cohen, whose kid's bar mitzvah he attended. In Israel, Trump would be elected prime minister by a landslide after nearly half a century of broken promises by other American presidents. Number three, Trump formally declared the America-recognized United Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Number four, he moved America's Israeli embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Number five, he recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Number six, he recognized the permanent legality of all Jewish communities and cities ridiculously called settlements in Judea and Samaria, which is falsely called the West Bank, as legal in all situations that Israel's own courts regard them as legal. Number seven, he cut off hundreds of millions of dollars funding for Abu Mazen, that is Mahmoud Abbas, his illegal government and the Palestinian Authority, on the grounds that they pay monthly stipends, pay to slay, to families of Arab terrorists who murder Jews and otherwise perpetrate acts of terror. Number eight, he closed down the PLO office in Washington, D.C. 9, he closed down America's long-standing so-called Palestine consulate in Jerusalem. 10, he pulled the United States out of the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council. Number 11, he cut off $300 million in funding that America had been sending to the Jew-hating UNRWA, UN, a Jew-hating UN agency that runs schools in places like Gaza where Arab Muslim children are taught to hate Jews. They hate Jews and to murder Jews. Number 12, appointed a UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, who warned anti-Israel countries that were taking down names. Number 13, commuted the anti-Semitic Iowa prison sentence of Shalon Rubishkin. Number 14, almost unilaterally brought about the Abraham Accords that included several leading Arab Muslim countries for the first time to enter into true peace agreements with Israel without Israel. You see here, ceding an inch of Jewish territory in Judea and Samaria. Number 15 is Secretary of Education Betty DeVos endorsed yeshiva education during visits to two yeshivas in New York City trip while skipping visiting the city's public schools. 16, Trump issued an executive order on combating anti-Semitism to enhance enforcement of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. That is to protect Jewish college students from overt Jew hatred, now rampant on so many American campuses. And 17, he named Kenneth Marcus, who I had on my show last week, as Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights to investigate anti-Semitic episodes at campuses like Rutgers in New Jersey. Trump, number 18, deported the last Nazi war criminal known to be hiding in America. 19, signed into law a bill making it easier for Holocaust victims to reclaim stolen property. 20, ended the disastrous Iran deal and implemented crushing sanctions against Iran. 21, signed the Taylor Force Act, knocked off Qasemi Soleimani, rubbed out Abu Bakr Baghdadi, shattered State Department policy by authorizing Americans born in Jerusalem to list Israel as their American path. The list goes on and on. And Joe Scarborough, MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the whole package of scum say that Trump has gone full Hitler. I guess the mirror is not big enough for all the media to look in, is it?